Hello, folks, and welcome to Infinite Growth TV. I am Professor Econ Todd Allyn, and thank you for being with us this show. I have a very, very special guest with me this evening. Hader Palacios is a sports psychologist, sports psychologist and a behavioral clinical psychology and sports psychologist. He has guided over 1,700 individuals towards personal and professional growth to date. He boasts more than 5,000 hours of on-hands experience and excels in directing sports psychology departments for top sports institutions, consulting with health professionals, as well as helping those professionals elevate their private practices, providing expert clinical and sports psychology services and multifaceted expertise. He also does data tabulation, translation, and interpretation. Let us introduce to you all, one and all, Hader Palacios, the great, the one and only. How are you, sir?
Thank you so much for having me here. It's a pleasure.
I appreciate it. I appreciate you so much. And for our bilingual audience, podemos esta entrevista un poco en español, porfa.
Por supuesto que sí. Aquí me tiene.
So for our listeners, I know that they're surprised because when you come on here, you look so young. And I can say that because, I'm an old man. So how did you get involved in behavioral psychology and sports psychology in particular, being at the tender age that you are?
Yeah, that's a very good question. Everything started in the college. I'm a urban dancer, and I've been doing that for almost 15 years. So it was the start of my life. And when I was doing that, I was interested in how we can improve our own behavior when we are involved in things that we like. Mm-hmm. So as an urban dancer, I was taking some classes, and I got a professor right there, and he told me that he got a class about sports psychology. And I said, okay, well, it sounds interesting. I think that I can use that on my own performance. That was the idea that I come there. Mm-hmm. And when I come to that class, just the world was open to me. I see a lot of potential right there. And I was thinking, okay, we can use this in order to improve the performance, not just from the trainers, all the people that is involved in the sport field. So yeah, my passion started right there.
Okay, awesome. And so, being a behavioral psychologist and also combining that with sport, how did you make the connection between the behavioral psychology and then also the sports psychology? Because for a person that doesn't have a lot of experience in the field, such as myself, right? Someone that just hears that, they would hear, when they hear behavioral psychology, they're thinking more abnormal behavior, as opposed to, how do you make the distinction?
Okay, well, when we are working on the behavioral psychology, we need to keep in mind that we are trying to identify and help the people with their thoughts, emotions, and actions. And when you are when you are working on the sport field, you have the same variables right there. It's the same topics. The players also get emotions, thoughts, and they perform a behavior during the field. Mm-hmm. So when we are thinking about just the behavioral part or the abnormal part of the psychology, we just need to keep in mind that we're trying to improve the performance of these people. When you have that idea in your mind, you just need to know how you can create a balance between the emotions, the thoughts, and the actions for the people that is doing the sport and also for the regular people. So okay. The connection is right there.
Yeah, and I like that. I like that distinction because, again, I believe that all behavior is learned. Would you agree with that?
That's right, and I'm agreeing with you.
Okay,
and of course we know that.
and so, but how do you separate an elite athlete then? if you have an elite athlete, let's just say Usain Bolt,
Hmm.
right? I mean, he's the fastest man on the planet. Everybody who steps up for that 100-meter race thinks that they're going to win. So how do we separate the behavior of a Usain Bolt versus another elite athlete from his country? Let's say we're running in the Olympics. What separates them from a behaviors perspective?
Yeah, we have a concept that is called mental toughness. When we're doing a sport, we have a lot of things that we need to keep in mind. The resources of the athlete, and we're talking about not just the economic part, but also the psychological part. Every people, or almost everyone, is able to run, but not everyone is able to be able to train and also get that information from that and keep doing it. So the mental toughness is a grit are similar, but they are not the same thing. The grit is having patience and perseverance to complete a long-term goal. But the mental toughness refers to a mental state, is being capable and to be meaningful, powerful, and flexible when you are trying to achieve a goal. So that's the things that we need to make the distinctions right there. It's not being able to run, it's able to keep doing it and also learn from that and adapt your behavior and mind to the action. That's something so difficult to do, even for the pro athletes.
Yeah. Wow. And so you also you're the head of sports psychology departments, and I just want to be clear for our listeners, and shout out to Derek Green, who's coming to. He says, "Good evening, gentlemen." Shout out to him for being with us this evening. This is going to be a good one, folks. I mean, hang on, because Hader is the real deal. So I'm 61 years old, and most of my listeners know this. And I'm not going to ask you your age, but you don't look like you're in your 30s.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm almost there, but not yet.
Okay. But you've had over 1,000 individuals. I think when I did the last study, it was 1,700 individuals that you've worked with, and so you have over 10,000 hours of working with individuals.
Yeah.
Do you sleep?
At this part of my life, of course, I did, but in the past, now that I didn't have so much time for do that, I was too busy.
Yeah, no doubt. But can you give us an idea? I know that you can't tell us your clients, okay? I'm not asking you to tell us your clients, but can you give us an idea of the caliber? I mean, you're talking about elite athletes that you deal with and elite organizations. Can you tell us where in the world that some of these places might be?
Of course, I can tell you the countries. I get some of my clients from United States, also from Colombia. We're talking about Costa Rica, Puerto Rico, and we're talking about also England, Australia. That's another country, and we have France. And I think that I'm almost maybe forgetting two or three of them, but I got some of the athletes in the Philippines too, and also on Asia from Japan and China.
Okay.
So yeah,
Now,
right
now,
all over
now,
the world.
now you forgot Spain.
Even in Spain, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Then
Shout out to Spain.
we're currently working with.
Right. Well, we're talking about countries, we're not talking about individuals though. But we're talking elite, correct?
Yeah,
Wow.
right.
So one of the things that interests me is making the connection between sports psychology and business, right? Because a lot of people that may be watching this may be aspiring YouTubers, or maybe aspiring entrepreneurs, or even maybe and this is kind of one of the areas that I work in as well. You're talking about someone, middle-aged persons who might be headed towards a midlife crisis, or they're involved in a midlife crisis. Um, are there similarities, or what are the similarities between those individuals and the elite athletes that you deal with from a psychological perspective?
Okay, well, that's a very good question. Thinking about the similarities, I need to say that first, everyone is looking for an objective, is looking for achieve a goal. We have a very specific thing that we need to get or we want to get.
Mm-hmm.
Also, these people are looking for a solution. That's the reason why these people come to me. They're not just looking for the things that we already know that we need to do. Where I'm looking for a solution that we can apply in the field and upside that. And
Mm-hmm.
that's something tricky sometimes because we think that maybe an advice will be enough the most of the time. And the real thing is, it is not. You need, if you want to achieve something, you need to get a plan. That's the reason why the people come to me. But also, when you have the plan, you need to keep in mind this is our, we have more similarities right here. We need to keep in mind the purpose. These people are looking for a purpose and how to achieve that purpose. And it's different from the objective and the goals because we're just not looking to get something. When you have the purpose, you are working for something. And
Okay.
that something is the thing that will sustain you during the process. Because, of course, I can say, okay, I want to be the fastest man alive. Okay, that's a very good objective, but how you're going to get that? And
Right.
you need to keep in mind what things are necessary to come there. And all these people are looking for the same things, a very good structure, a plan that is going to work, and also a professional that will be capable of guiding you through the process with all the things that we need to achieve right there.
Right.
Because a lot of things, requires a lot of things to become the fastest man alive.
So I'm gonna make a statement. I'm gonna make two statements. The first statement, and I would like for you to respond to them if you would. The first statement I'm going to make is that even coaches need coaches.
Right. Absolutely.
Okay. Um, how so if I have a YouTuber, a person that wants to be a YouTuber, what kind of steps or what kind of process would you take them through? Or if it's not a YouTuber, that it may be someone who wants to be an entrepreneur, right? Who wants to leave the matrix, wants to leave the working in someone else's dream. How would you help them get started through the process and then guide them until they reach their ultimate goal, whatever that might be?
Okay, yeah, that's a very good question. First, we need to understand what is the thing that we're talking about. What is the field that we're trying to get in? It's not the
Mhm.
same being a runner that a swimmer, for example. So you
Mhm.
need to keep in mind what things are necessary for doing that. And the first step that you are going to need to do is learn about the field that you're trying to get in. When
Mhm.
you get that information, we create that sessions in order to clarify that. Then you need to think about this. What is the thing that I want to do in that field? Or what is the thing that I want to get from that?
Okay. Would that be a dollar amount, or could that be if we're talking about YouTube, a number of subscribers? I mean, how is that defined?
That's right. It is defined by the for two things. First, the field itself, and second one, the person that is trying to shift. For example, if you are a YouTuber, the success could be related with more subscribers, but also the quality of your content.
Hmm.
So when we have that in mind, we say, okay, I need to get more subscribers, but also I'm trying to improve the quality of my content.
Mhm.
And normally these things are related. If you get more quality, you expect that more people come to you. If more people come to you, they will see the quality that you have and they will share the information. That's
Uh,
the basic thing that how the social media works. We also have a button that the name is share right there. So you can share the link with more
mhm.
people.
Mhm.
So when we have that, the field itself will tell you what are some things that will be the measure for successful in your field. But
Mhm.
also we need to clarify what are you interested in. For example, for me, it could be, okay, I don't want to get specifically more subscribers, so I just want to focus on the quality of my content.
Mhm.
But also, if I do that, it's normal that I get more subscribers. So normally the things are related. So we need to keep in mind what is the thing that we're working for, or the things that we want to get. Because when the success comes, you're gonna get a lot of things. I get
Yeah.
a lot of my clients from the sport field, for example, that they tell me, sometimes they told me, okay, I'm not doing this for money. They are paying me a lot, of course, but I'm not doing this for money. I just want to improve myself and look, set my limits, and then broke it all. And I say, okay, of course, that's a very good one, and a very good way to approach to the situation. But also, we need to understand that the money, for example, comes with that kind of success. And
Yeah.
maybe you're not just focusing that, but you need to keep in mind what things will be required, and also the things that you are going to attract when you're getting that success too. I don't know
Okay.
if I answered your question, right?
Yeah. No, no, that's very good. It's very good and very detailed. The second phrase that I want want you to respond to is this. You know, a lot of times we hear the concept of goal setting, right? But
Hmm.
I have heard this saying, and it's something that I attempt to live by every day, is that we don't rise to the level of our goals, we fall to the levels of our systems. How would you respond to that?
I will say that you're right too, because we need to clarify something when we are talking about goal settings. A goal setting could be defined as a list of the things that we want to get, but you need more than just the list in order to get that things. You need a system. You
Mhm.
need to know when, what do I need to do, where, how, all of that information. And of course, we're talking about time, and we're trying to management the activities during the time. But we need to keep in mind that we need a system. We need a clear plan on how to get that. And also, if we have that system, it is crystal clear. Even if I made a mistake, I will know where, when, and how. That's
Mm.
the
Okay. Okay. So you're from where are you from? You're from
I'm from Colombia. That's the
okay.
country that I was born to.
Right. From Colombia. What part?
What part? Well, I was born in Medellin. That's one of the capitals that we have here.
Uh-huh.
It's
Okay.
very popular these days. Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, I say that because it's very interesting, and coming from the U.S. When we talk to a lot of high profile people from the U.S. or even that we are associated with from around the world, they don't look like you.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's right.
Right. And so from my culture, from the US, we are, and I said all behaviors learned. So that's, I just want to say that when I preface this comment or the statement, that we are aware, or we've are trained, or we've become aware that there are a lot of racial differences. There's a lot of differences in people based on color, right?
That's
And you know,
right.
Martin Luther King Jr. said, "Don't judge me by the color of my skin, but the content of my character." But that falls on deaf ears for many people from the U.S.
Mm.
Given that you are a global figure, what has been the response, or what has been the reaction that you've seen from people all over the world when they first meet you, and how do you deal with that?
Okay. Well, that's a very good question. I need to think about it. Um, I have a lot of response, a lot of that. So during my career, it was something funny because some of my clients come to me because normally the 8% of the people that comes with me is because other client told them that I was doing my job good and they want to get my service.
Mhm.
So they all almost every time they don't mention how do I look. They
Right.
just think about, okay, I just need to get a very good professional and I got this for them.
Right.
When the people come to me, it's something funny because the majority of the time I can see like a very micro expression, the facial
Mhm.
expression,
Mhm.
and they say something like, first, you look young. That's the thing. So they always told me, okay, I was thinking that you were old. That's the thing. And I say,
Right.
nice to meet you. The
Right.
second part that we have right there is, okay, where are you from again? Because as a global figure, like, as you said, they normally think that I'm from United States or I'm from another country. So when
Right.
I say I'm from Colombia, they say, "Okay, really? Okay, let me know more about that." So
Right.
they don't have that image in their mind. So
Right.
yeah, that's some of the kind of things I was receiving. Every time is new for me. Every client is different, and I really enjoy that first part
Right.
because allow me to show myself but also to adapt to a new culture. I think that's one of the best things of my job is I've been exposed to new cultures literally, we're talking about every single day. So that's
Mhm.
something powerful in my life because I can say that I meet people from different cultures every single day. So it's a very good
Yeah.
and open your mind.
Yeah. I mean, and I think, when we first met, um, two things went through my mind. Number one, you're young. Right. Right. And the fact that you are a melanated man, it inspired me, right?
Wow.
Because it inspired me because when we're talking about the psychological field, and we're talking about mindset, or we're talking about neurosciences, or we're talking about things as it relates to understanding behaviors from a very scientific perspective as well, and we'll get into your research in just a moment. What doesn't come to my mind as an American is someone that looks like me. What comes to my mind is an older white gentleman, or a middle-aged woman, right?
Right.
Because of when we're looking at our education system in the United States, those are the people that have those kinds of positions usually. I mean, when we're talking about a Dr. Phil, right? You know, or we're talking about a Dr. Oz, right? But really, you're right up there with them. I mean, with the number of people that you've dealt with, the number of organizations and the type of organizations that you deal with on a daily basis. I mean, you're right up there. Why don't we hear more about you, right?
Whew. Yeah. Well, thank you so much. And yeah, that's a very good thing too, because when I was starting, I was preparing myself for doing my job. I was thinking something similar. I was looking for some figures that I can look at, and I say, okay, I need to find more people that look like me. But unfortunately, I don't have that opportunity. So an idea comes to my mind. Okay, I can be that person. I can be the people, or I can be the person that the new generations or even my own generation look at and said, okay, this is possible. I can
Right.
do it too. And this is the thing. There is some trick about my job. It is I need or I have to decide at one point of my career if I was looking for a lot of people know my name or focus on all the people that I can work with.
Mm.
Those things, if you see at the first part, it looks like they are the same thing, but in the academic field, it is not. You can write a lot of books, you can get a lot of articles with your name, but the people will not know your face. In
Mhm.
this century, it's a little bit easier because we have social media, so you can look my name and find that kind of things.
Right.
But normally, you need to make a decision. and I decide to be focused on my clients and the organizations that I was looking for. And maybe in a couple of years, I will do more things like this because I really enjoy talk with the people. So thank you for having me here. It's a great opportunity for me to share with the other people
Oh,
how
I appreciate you, man. I mean, it's I'm the type of person where I'm a very loyal person, and I'm loyal to people that help me, that work in my dream. And if I can help them along the way, I think there's always room at the top. In fact, there's more room at the top than there is in the bottom and the middle. And so I appreciate the fact that you when I reached out to you, you permitted me to interview you, and I appreciate that you let me into your world. Um, I want to talk about La Universidad de Sabana in Colombia.
great.
Tell me about the university.
Well, La Universidad de la Sabana is a university that I was working or
I
I
said
was
I said that like a gringo, didn't I? I said that with a gringo accent. Say it. Yeah, I feel bad.
just a little bit. Don't worry about it. It's normal.
All right. All right. La Universidad de la Sabana. Okay.
Great. Your
Uh,
Spanish is so good. It's muy
I'm
bueno.
trying.
Muy
I'm
bueno.
trying. Yo
Well,
entendí.
let me talk about it just a little bit.
Okay.
Well, La Universidad de la Sabana is a private university here in Colombia. So this university started on 21 September 19, I think it was 1979.
Uh-huh.
So this university is located in Chia, Colombia. It is close to Bogota, like 45 minutes from
Mhm.
Bogota. So it's very near to that. Also, the university started on in Bogota, but they moved the campus because they created or they make it bigger.
Mhm.
So we have a beautiful campus. We have a lot of trees. We have a lot of spaces, green spaces. So it's something powerful for someone like me, for example,
Mhm.
because I don't like the noisy places, like the traffic and all of that. So the
Right.
university was an atmosphere that I can just dedicate to thinking and create new things. So
Mhm.
it was awesome for me. Also, this university have a lot of students, we have a lot of careers, we have a lot of people, and that's the main thing that we need to say about my university. It is when I was looking for a university, I was getting access to a lot of them, but I was thinking about what about the people. I got some ideas and I got values in my life, and I was looking for in a space that I can grow, but also I can belong to
Mhm.
someone or some place that I can call not just a second home, but just an extension of those values. If I
Mhm.
want to become a professional, I was looking for a space that really believe about the young talent and how to create new things. And that was the space.
Mhm.
And today, I think that was one of the best decisions I can ever made. So it was great. It was great.
So from your again looking at your bio and looking at the extensive numbers of clients and the number of hours that you've actually been honing your craft, but you're also heavily involved in research.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
How do you balance the individual consultations or heading of psychological departments for major sports clubs at the same time doing your research?
Whew.
Yeah.
Well, at the beginning, I need to. I'm
You're,
gonna.
you're a little bit off screen. If you can come a little bit more in front of your camera, you're a little bit off screen. Yeah.
Great. Let me know.
Yeah.
That's
There we go.
better.
Yeah. Yeah. Better. Thank you. Yep.
Yeah. So I will let you know part of my trick. So the first thing is you need to dedicate because when I come to university, the first thing that I said to my director right there, because they assigned us during the first year or during the whole career, but during the first year is obligatory, is mandatory that you will have a professor in the field that you want to be specialized.
Right.
So they will guide you through the process. Well, I come to my mentor and I said that's one of the reasons I agree with you when you say that a coach need a coach.
Mhm.
Well, it was the same with me. I
Mhm.
come right there and I say to my coach, okay, I want to come here. I want to get here. What do I need to do? So he was giving me the advices on how to balance that. But I will give you three parts of that process. First, you need to be obsessed. That's one of the things. You really need to be obsessed about this
Right.
because you're gonna dedicate your life to do this. The second part, you need to get access to the resources. We're talking about the mental health part, we're talking about professionals. So I get my mentor and I said, okay, maybe not at this part, but I think that in the middle of this process, I will need to go therapy too, because I will need to get more strategies in order to be better with this.
Mhm.
I want to be the best professional that I can, but I don't want to die in the process. That's one of the things. The third part that you will need to do is the mental toughness that we already talk about. How you manage the difficult parts of the life, how you persist in the face of challenges, mistakes, and failure. And
Mhm.
when you have that, you will having some good ideas. For example, I decide that the field that I was working for example, with psychology of sport, I will use that information in the same time that we're creating more papers, for example.
Mhm.
So I was using I was using that data in order to create new investigations, but also I will create a new process for the same people that I was working with. So that was an agreement that I come with the people that I work to in order to be able to that. So I
Mhm.
was doing or putting on the table the things I want to work with and put it close as much as I can. You know,
Mhm.
and
So
that's the secret.
so would you say, and this is going to be a very nerdy question. So this is just this is just a trigger warning for my listeners. So would you say that you in your research that you're more quantitative or qualitative?
Oof, I use a mixed actually
Okay. Wow. Okay.
because yeah, that's the thing. The quantity part, it's important because the numbers give us a lot of information. We can
Mhm.
create a lot of predictions using the numbers, but also the quality part lets you know how do people think and feel about the things that you were looking for. So in my mind, I will need to get both. I want to get the information from the numbers, but also I want to know how does it feel to be Usain Bolt, a pro athlete, or
Mhm.
how do I feel when I was trying to solve these problems?
Mhm.
Because as an athlete too, you will need to keep in mind that you need to know the numbers in your sport, but also you need to know how that feels because that's the thing that you're doing for. So I use a mix.
So, so again, I want to come back to the entrepreneur because I am not a gold medal athlete. That's for sure. Uh, yeah. How in translating this to an entrepreneur or translating this to an executive or other high performance individuals, and when I say high performance individuals, I'm even including the single mom, because again, that's a high performance, that's a high performing thankless job, or the single father, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
how can we make that connection again from your practice of dealing with high level athletes to dealing with a single mom or single dad, or even families or a husband and wife or boyfriend and girlfriend or whatever the mix might be, managing and maintaining their relationships? Is
Okay.
the information or the numbers from the mixed methods that you use, are there numbers that you use for those groups as well?
Well, in that specific part, we need to look for new data every time I'm starting. And for every hour that I'm working with a client, I spend almost 4 hours starting that specific person with the specific issues that they have. So it's not the same thing working with a single mom or dad that with a pro athlete, but we have some similarities right there. For
Okay.
example, I will let you know how is the structure of my therapy sessions. For example,
Mhm.
first we design these therapeutic activities in order to give you tools to solve the problems that you are dealing with. That's
Mhm.
the system that we're talking about. We need a plan. We need to know what we're doing. In order
Mhm.
to get that, always we're gonna go into the past, from the past to the present every time. So
Mhm.
in every session, I said, okay, how is everything going this week? What are the things that you want to get or the things that you were doing right now? So they give me that information and I explain at the time, I explain all the time, what are we doing today? And
Mhm.
I will show you that the things that we need to do during the section, but together we're gonna decide the order of that.
Mhm.
As a pro athlete, for example, you need to make sure what are the things that you want to be better in. It's the same thing when you are a single mom, a single dad, or an executive. You need to know what are the things that you want to improve, what are the things that you need to do. And
Mhm.
as a professional, I will show you the road in order to do that. But together, we're going to decide what comes first and what comes second.
Mhm.
Because I have some priorities as uh, your professional mental health in that field, but I'm more interested in the things that you want to do for yourself and the
Mhm.
things that you want to improve, and I will help you with that. If something is wrong, for example, we design some previews or agreements and topics, including some things that maybe they're going to help us during the process. When
Mhm.
we have that information, we are creating updates of that
Mhm.
information over time. That's the other thing. It doesn't matter if you're a single mom, an executive, you need to get updates of your own behavior. If you
Mhm.
don't have those updates, you're not going to be able to see or be focused if you are doing the things right or not. And
Right.
also, you are not going to be able to see if you are getting close to your goals or not. Because sometimes we're too busy just living the life in an automatic process, and that's all. So it's
Right.
difficult sometimes for being able to see that. And the final part, it is about just a feedback and summarize the things that you want to share, even if you don't think that they are important, because this is a funny part of my job. Every time that I get a client that it's about to tell me something like, okay, well, I don't think that this is going to be important, but I want that you know, every single time the thing that they say it's so important for the program. So yeah, that's the thing. That's the
Yeah.
thing with it.
Yeah. Um, I like the idea that you've expressed to me, and when I hear you say that, it says to me that it's a 360-degree process, right? And and also, you're familiar with Johari window?
And no, explain to me.
Okay. Well, Johari window would be a plane, right? And there are four segments. One would be the things that you know that others know as well. Then there would be things that you know that others don't know, things that others know that you don't know, and the things that are unknown, right? So we're
Okay,
looking at that individual. There are things that I know about me that, and you know about me. There are things that I know about me that you don't know about me. There are things that you know about me that I don't know about me. And there are things that we both don't know. But
that's right.
if we're going through the process, and this is what I'm hearing, when we go through the process or when you're working with a client, it's a 360-degree outlook of getting feedback. But then there's the opportunity for both of us to explore the things that we don't know,
That's
right?
right.
And that is the
Exactly.
scariest part.
Yeah. I agree too. Yeah, that's right. That's right. And that's well, you choose the perfect words to explain that. That's the main idea that we was trying to express. Is the same thing.
Yeah.
And in that process, by my side, it is important also to let my clients know that I'm working with them during the process.
Mm.
Every time that I give you a new tool, a new strategy, is because I already applied that in my life.
Mhm.
That was a thing because remember, I work with organizations, I work with sports, with regular people. I get a lot of things right there. So I need to keep my mind in the road, back to the game. But also, I need to take care of myself too.
Mm.
So it is a process too. With my clients, also, I learned how to take care of myself in the best way every single time.
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, when you're dealing with world class athletes,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I mean, you can't, and this is just my mind. You can't deal with a world class athlete and be, obese, right? I mean, you have to look like you do a little something,
Yeah, it's important. Yeah, you need to follow the lead. So
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So, so you going into that theme, ¿cuál es su pasatiempo? What's your hobby?
Whew. Tengo varios. I got a few.
Okay.
I like almost. It was a strange part of my life because I was just looking for something that I can do in my free time, but I was able to find a new passion in my life. I really like to dance a lot.
Okay.
So I got some movements and things that I want to try in a different ways, and I'm trying to create my own style. So that's one of the things. The second one is I like painting. I think that also I got. Let me show you one second.
Okay.
I got some figures like this, and they really like to paint, for example. So this kind of
Okay.
thing. So I really
Okay.
want to create new things. So it's great for me being able to do this.
Okay.
And
So
also,
art therapy is part of what
yeah,
you do.
that's right. That's right. Also, I really, really, really enjoy. I really enjoy the music. So
Mm.
sometimes I was trying to play, and then right now I'm trying to go back again, playing the guitar and the piano again because
Okay.
the music, the rhythm is so important for me. Everything is related. And the last thing that is just the last thing, but it's not less important. Just keep that in mind.
Uh-huh.
I really like to spend time with my friends. I
Okay.
have a lot of very good friends, and they show me a lot of new things. I
Okay.
got friends that they like to climb mountains, for example. They like to camping. They like to create video games. So they show me a very different view of the life. So that the thing that I really enjoy to do. I really like to spend time with them.
Okay. Dark Green says, "Got to hit the rack, fellas. Great conversation." Hey, Dark Green, thanks for being with us tonight, buddy. Thank you so much.
The
Um,
pleasure.
the so when you talk about um, you said urban dancing. Now, I caught that. All right. I mean, I'm old, but I'm not always slow. Now, coming coming from Colombia, Medellin in particular, it's not Cali, but Cali is the salsa and the merengue capital, right?
Mhm.
But when you say urban dancing and you're from Colombia, what help me to understand that? When you
I
say
will.
urban dance, what is that? I mean, are you talking hip hop? Are you talking pop locking? I mean, what are you talking about?
I'm talking about all that thing together because in
Uh-huh.
Colombia we have a mix of music and rhythms and things. And I spent almost a couple of years in a place that is called Quibdó, Chocó. That
Choco.
place is wild with the rhythm. They really know how to move. And
Okay.
also they create some mix with the music. So for example, it's funny because in my family they can do salsa, bachata, all that kind of things. And I'm just a little rusty with that kind of things. But it's funny because it is difficult for me to do that, but also I'm able to do this kind of movements. So it's
Right.
funny for them because they say like, okay, how is it possible for you being able to move in that way, but you're not able to do this part of the thing? So it's
Right, right.
is how it works. So it is a mix of the hip hop styles. We have a lot of influence for United States, but also from Africa and some countries right there. And also we create a new style using the bachata and the salsa together. So it's things. We also get influence for the breakdance, for example.
Yeah.
So it's a mix a lot of things. When you say urban right there, we're talking about a soup with a lot of things,
Okay.
ingredients right there.
So one thing that I noticed that in Colombia, I I can't pick up the music is very different for me. I I appreciate music, um, but part of my issue is I don't understand a dang word that they're saying. I mean, I might pick up one word here or there that's out there by itself, right? But um, but I do one movie that was very very important to me, and it is very important to me, is La Nina, which
Mm,
was about a young girl that was taken from her farm. That the guerrillas actually took her, and she was raised in that situation. But when there was a change in the government and they reclaimed some of the children back into normal society, she ended up going to to medical school, and it is actually a true story from what I couldn't understand. But there was a group that um, I'm gonna have to look it up now. I can't remember, but the music that I heard from them was it was very rhythmic, part African, part rhythmic, but it wasn't the kind of music that I'm hearing in Bogota, right? Um, and I have to find the group while we're having this discussion. But the music of Colombia is not rock and roll. It's not
yeah.
just rap. It is
It's so
very
fast.
it's a mix of everything.
Yeah.
Is and this is gonna again, this is just a nerd question. Is a lot of the music that is in Colombia, does it come from Afro Colombians more than
Mm,
anything else?
yeah. You're right. Yeah.
Okay.
We got the rhythm right there. Yeah.
So I'm not crazy.
No, you're not crazy. And we have a lot of exponents that we have during the years. We have these figures that change the way that we create music. For example, in the salsa field, we have a Joey Arroyo. He was a very good musician. And that's something cool because the way that this man was connected to the music was in a very empiric way because he doesn't know about the all the formal part of the music, but
Mhm.
he will be able to create new sounds and replicate instruments. So the way that he connect with the band is something different. And also he was so proud of his ethnicity. So he was trying to create that mix from Africa and also trying to put the things that we already are doing in this part of the world. So yeah, that's right. We have a lot of the influence for the Afro right here. They are the people that are creating the rhythm. I always like to say that the black people here in Colombia is driving the business in order to create new sounds. We're working so hard in order to do that. And it's
Yeah,
great. It's
yeah.
awesome.
I mean, and that's the that's the thing that I come to really appreciate about Colombia. I mean, it is very diverse, right?
Yeah, it
Um,
is.
it is extremely diverse. And when I went to visit San Andres, I was surprised because and I hadn't known it until I got there that while the people look like you and I, their national language is English.
That's right.
And
Yeah.
it's a Colombian island. I'm like, wow, it was incredible. I'm trying to look to find out who sang the soundtrack, and I'll find that for you
Great.
because I know that you probably know the group. Um, so, who's your favorite artist then? I mean, you're into music. Who's your favorite artist?
Oh, wow, that's a hard question Depends a lot of things. I really like the music from Joey Arroyo, for example, if we are talking about the Latin people.
Hmm.
I really respect his work. And also I got the I need to remember that group because it is a yeah, I know what's in the group. So I'm trying to translate it in my mind, but sometimes it's not necessary. The things that the group that I'm talking about is El Grupo Nietzsche, the first part that they got there from salsa. So it's they're a very good group too. Michael Jackson, that's another artist that I real respect to, and the way he was creating the music. You know? And we have also I don't know why my brain is trying to translate this, but the name of her is a singer. She is I got the name right, the butterfly.
No worries. No worries.
Come.
So,
Uh, I can't remember her
well,
name.
while you're thinking of that, this is my favorite song. Spanish. Well, one of my favorite songs.
Celia Cruz. Yeah, I know. I'm sorry for interrupting you,
Who's that?
but
No worries. Who's that?
Celia Cruz.
Daniel Cruz. Okay.
Yeah.
The song that I like is Te Invito, Herencia de Timbiqui.
Yeah, Herencia de Timbiquí. Yeah, they're good. That's a very good band too.
I mean, that was, the La Nina is a novela, right? It's 80 episodes. so, so when I was attempting to learn Spanish, I was using that as the tool to hear, to listen. I still have to, in order for me to get better, I have to learn to read Spanish better. I know that. I have a long way to go. Learning Spanish in my 50s. I don't know what I know what I was thinking, but it's not the regular route to go, right? It's, falling in love with a Colombian woman, makes you do strange things, my friend. Makes you do strange things. But but what's interesting to me is not only the professionalism that you have in terms of the job or the work that you do, and you keep saying your job, but because it's your passion, it becomes, it's not just a job, because this becomes, as you said, you were obsessed with it. But the depth that you have as a person, from dance to art to music, to social connections. I mean, all of this. When we look at what we all espouse to be, right? We want to be Renaissance men, to be able to do and to think of, to be able to relate at multiple levels. And I'm just in awe of having this conversation with you and learning more and more about you, and how much depth you have, as a young man that's not in his 30s, right? And I'm envious. I'm like, damn, what what was I doing? Right? you know um, but I appreciate it, because, again, I mean, I think, and I've told you this before, I mean, you motivate me, right? Even and as double your age, in a sense. I mean, you're motivating to me, because it's not too late, and it's not too late as long as I'm on this side of the plane of existence and breathing. But you have given me, um, I learned lessons from you. I mean, when you said, when you're starting your academic career and starting your professional career in the area of psychology, and not having a lot of role models that look like you, or maybe even coming from the place that you came from. And we haven't even talked about what your life was when you were younger. But the word obsessed, and to be obsessed with a topic that, from what I'm hearing, that you're coming from urban dance and going into psychology and sports psychology and behavioral psychology, those are diametrically opposed to one another. I mean, they're on opposite spectrums, but yet you've been able to combine the two and say, hey, they're related.
Yeah.
You talk about putting a round peg in a square hole.
Yeah, and that's the thing that I think is more powerful in my life. It is it is a direct influence from the Black community in my life, because
Mm,
they were the people that taught me how to see those connections. And think about the music that we create. Think about the
uh-huh.
art. Think about the dances that we create. We took things that apparently they're not related. For example, you got a guitar and also some drums, and you will able to create a new sound with that,
Mm,
and it match together so cool.
yeah.
So I think there is the same mentality that I got in my life with the things that I'm doing, is see the things that other people don't see, or they don't want to see sometimes.
Right.
Sometimes they can't see. But
Right.
I'm trying this active effort to see the different things that we can combine.
So tell me what it was like growing up.
Whew, I was the weird guy. I need to be honest. I was a nerd. So when I was growing up, I need right now. I'm thankful for my mom and how she raised me, because she saved me from a lot of things. So she makes sure that I was out of the streets. So she makes sure that I was using my skills in the best way possible. And she looked at me, I think that was like 5 years old. She was looking, we were in my uncle's house. And on that house, they got a lot of newspapers on the wall.
Mhm.
So at that age, I was just starting how to read. And I was just looking for the letters, and my mom saw that. And she told me, okay, do you want to learn? And she was able to teach me, and she was able to create in me a new vision of the starting things.
Mm,
So she told me something that will keep in my mind until I die. I think it was, if you want to do something and you don't know how to do it, look for someone that will be able to teach you.
mm.
Right now, I'm that person in your life, but maybe one day you will be mine. And I said, okay, that's something weird, mom. I
Right.
said, because at this part of my life, I was just thinking, you are a superhero for me.
Mhm. Mhm.
What can I teach you? That's the
Mhm.
thing. And during the process for me growing up was a mix of things. First, yeah, I was the nerd. So I was studying a lot on the library and creating new things.
Mhm.
Also, I was trying to develop my social skills, because my mom told me that it was important for me to be able to connect with the people and learn from them. So I
Mhm.
was trying how, and I was practicing how to
Right.
do that. During my when I was a teenager, it was something weird in my life, because you have a lot of changes, the hormones, all the things that you can imagine. But I decided to keep my mind on the books and the people. These are
Mhm.
the things that I was trying to look. So I was looking for role models. And that was so important for me, because I think that part of the things that make me the man that I am is not just the thing that I have done, it's the people that I met.
Mm.
That's the thing. And they changed the perspective they have about a lot of things. So
Mhm.
it was meaningful for me. And the relationship, I got a sister. I got two sisters, but I was growing up just with one of them. And my younger sister, our relationship was not close at the beginning, because different personalities and that things.
Mhm.
But in the middle of the process, we were able to see that we have some things in common, and we are able to grow together. So from my sister, I really learned how a really woman thinks. And that's
Mhm.
something like it's powerful for me, because my mom really did a very good job in order to be able to teach us how to behave, and also how to express our limits to the people.
Mm. So you say your sister taught you how a woman thinks.
Yeah, that's the
Wow.
thing.
And,
Yeah.
and you survived that. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, it was wild. I think, to be honest, was wild, but yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It's great. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm waiting for that book to come out. Goodness gracious. That's crazy. Yeah. Yeah. Um, what are your thoughts about the concept passport bros?
Whew, I don't gonna lie. I don't gonna say that I don't know what you're talking about, because yes, I know what you're talking about.
I know you do.
Well, the passwords, the passwords, I think there is a response to a lack of some things in the people, or in a lack of some things in the people culture. Because in this center, we're trying, like every part of the history, to get couples and also meet people, get married, that kind of things. And sometimes it's difficult for us to be able to connect with that special partner. So I understand this urgency for some guys to go outside and look for the perfect woman that we're looking for. But also, I can see from these countries a response from the women in order to receive this man and also get engaged. So that's something that, for me as a psychologist, is great, because this is the first part of the history that we're able to see that kind of phenomenon occurring in our daily lives.
Mhm.
So, and yeah, that's are the thoughts that I got about the passport things.
Yeah, and I think that it is a 21st century phenomenon that has
Mhm.
been around since man crossed the oceans, right? Since he crossed the
Yeah,
seas, right? I mean, the
and
when when the Europeans were doing it, and when the Portuguese came to Brazil, and when when the Spaniards went to North America, they weren't called passport bros.
yeah, yeah, that was the thing that what I was about to say is it's a poetic way to see how we are doing some things during the whole human history.
Right.
So yeah, we're just crossing the world.
Exactly. That's awesome. Um, the next question I have, and I really appreciate the fact that you're giving us a lot of background and backstories to your life. But one of the things that I've noticed, that you always talk about your mom, but I've never heard you say anything about your dad. What was your dad like?
Okay, well, he was tough. That was the thing. But I need to say that the reason why I didn't mention before is because I got a very special part of my life that was reserved for him.
Hmm.
My mom teach me how to behave and how to set the limits, but he was the man during the whole process. He was the person who taught me how to be a man, and that's something that for me is so important,
Yeah.
because I was looking for a role model, and he was able to show me how to become that model.
Mm.
He was the kind of man that he was not a huggy person,
Right. Right.
but he was more involving. How can I teach you how to solve problem? So a lot of my solving skills, they're coming from him, and
Hmm.
my discipline also, because my
Hmm.
mom teach me a lot of things, but he was the man that make sure that I was able to keep doing the job.
Right.
So he taught me consistency. He taught me how to, he was able to explain to me how to maintain my mind in one thing,
Hmm.
how to erase distractions,
Right.
how to keep working during the adversity, something
Hmm.
that is so hard to do.
Right.
And he also was able to teach me how can I get more energy from myself.
Right.
Like he said all my life, your your body is not empty until you die. So that's
Mm.
the thing.
Wow. That's
When you have a
powerful.
soul, you can do it.
That's very, very powerful. Hader, I really appreciate that. We're coming up on a little bit over an hour. We're an hour and 4 minutes or so, but I'm going to leave this interview here. But I want to give you an opportunity to say some final thoughts or some last words to our listeners. I'm going to change the screen here, and I'm going to give you the go ahead.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. Great. So for all the people that was able to hear us tonight, I need to say thank you so much. But also, I know that you are struggling. I know that it's probably that you're facing a lot of things in your life, and it's not just about keep going. It's about how you are living with the things that you know that you are going through. You are not alone. I know that sometimes we can feel that way, and sometimes we can feel that we are just the last person on the earth, but during the process we can solve the things, we can find new people, we can connect the people. You have me here. So during my career I learned a lot of things, and one of the things that I want to share with you is, if we are together, we are stronger. But sometimes we need to find the perfect people in order to connect with. So it was a pleasure to be here, and thank you so much for having me.
Well, thank you, Hader, for being with us. And as I said, and we've talked before, I really believe and feel that you're very inspirational, not just to me, but I know that when people meet you, and as more people get to see you and know about you from this broadcast, I'm really hoping and praying that more and more people will reach out to you. I'll put your information in the description, but I want to encourage anyone who's watching this that if you need someone or just want to have some ideas that you just want to bounce off of anyone, I would highly recommend this young man here, Hader Palacios. He's the real deal, and it doesn't matter if you don't speak very good Spanish.
I'm with you.
he can help you with that as well. But Hader, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And folks, that'll do it for us here at Infinite Growth TV. And just remember that we are what we continually do. Excellence then is not an act, but a habit. Until next time, you're with Infinite Growth TV. Be blessed.